burn the journals. The Anthony journals. Burn them. Oh, and don't be tempted, Charlie. Don't. If you continue this experiment, who knows what he might become.
Second class cinema. Won't remember together. Second class cinema.
Welcome to Second Class Cinema, the show where we watch a B movie and immediately discuss. I'm Tom. I'm here with Brittany, Eric, and Brandon.
What's up?
Hi, Brandon.
Hello. Thank you
Welcome
for
back.
having me again.
Welcome back. You were previously on the Friday the 13th
Part 5.
Part 5 episode.
Yeah. Yes.
For cult movie.
I like this movie a lot more that we watched tonight than Friday the 13th Part 5.
Really?
Interesting proposal. So yeah, tonight for Horror Movie Month, watching horror movies throughout October, was my pick. We watched The Kindred from 1987.
Yes, we did.
We did. And I picked it because we bought it.
Those are the best
The
ones.
end.
The aim.
I feel like I do that a lot. I'll just buy it. We bought it at VHSPS at Rock and Shock last year. We actually showed you, or you spied the movie on the shelf and said, "Hey, this is a good one."
Yeah.
And then we remembered
And,
that.
and we remembered it, and you're here for that.
Well, this movie actually I've been pretty fond of for a really long time, and I forgot about it for a really long time because it was only available on VHS for years. The way that I reconnected with The Kindred was actually at Rock and Shock. I saw a bootleg DVD, so I was like, "Hey, everyone that likes this kind of shit, do it again."
Yeah. No, it was a good time for the most part. I guess we can go into what it's about. I can give it a shot because it's my responsibility.
Tom, I think it's time you started pulling your weight.
It's a lot of weight to pull.
Got a little blurb here too, if you want to read from that.
You have a blurb?
Yeah.
Oh,
We have an official Fangoria blurb.
oh, that's right.
I'm not doing that though. I want you to you decipher.
It's more fun that way.
Give it a shot, ski. All right. So this movie was about a scientist whose mother was doing some very strange experiments in her time, and she passed away, and in a panic told her son to go to their old home and burn it down because Anthony was there.
Anthony.
and there was a bunch of old experiments. So she said, go and just get rid of it and go say hi to Anthony. And he's like, who's Anthony?
And she was like, Anthony Michael Hall.
Yeah, and then it was the Breakfast Club.
The end.
Don't you? And so all these other scientists and characters head up to this place to clean it up and clean up the experiments and find out what's going on. And they all start getting tormented by tendrils.
The movie.
Exactly what happened.
That's the basic gist of it. And if anyone else wants to add anything, or Brandon, if you could be more succinct than I, then take it away.
No, you did a great job. You basically touched on everything except for like little subplotty stuff. But
Keep it high level.
that.
Yeah.
You got the core of it.
You kept it in a little back of the video box blurb.
Yeah,
That's what it did.
Thanks, guys.
Great job.
Okay, you clowns, cut the crap.
Let's go into successes.
Success.
Let's start with that. Who would like to begin?
I thought this movie was generally well written. Like the story felt complete. The plot made sense. Like I understood the characters' drives to make the decisions that they were making.
Yeah.
Which is so fucking rare when you watch movies like
Hell
this.
yeah.
Like, what is happening? Why is everyone a moron? But I barely had that thought ever at all in this movie, so that was pretty great.
Yeah, I felt like I was trying to think that at sometimes, and I just couldn't bring myself to. And I thought the same thing. It seemed like this would be a great script read. Like, I'll just read this script. Oh, that was a really good script. That'd be cool to see on screen. And then their transfer of script to screen was actually well executed.
Yeah, I thought the exposition felt pretty natural.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like they were like, hey, we're ham-boning this story.
Who's there? Here's a 5-minute dump.
Yeah. Big exposition.
Remember when you were a boy?
I actually wrote in my notes, engaging story for a B movie.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, like and right from the top too. One of my notes is that the intro was really compelling. I was like, who was that and why did they do that? Which
And all of these things that we're talking about right now are like things that are like normal for like
for like good movies.
yeah. You go see a movie and like no one's like, wow, that's a really good story. But like when you're watching a shitty little B movie, well, it wasn't shitty. It wasn't. Shitty.
No, I
and
wouldn't
it
call
wasn't
this
little
shitty.
either.
Well, when you
No.
only watch good movies, you take it for granted.
Exactly. Exactly. You don't like say, oh, high five for not, being a piece of garbage in the story department.
You don't realize how important story is until you watch a movie like a Ghost Story.
Yeah, it's all relative to your environment, right?
Relatively.
The dialogue.
Relativity.
The dialogue felt relatively natural. There were a couple of parts where it really didn't, and I can't remember specifically what they were. I think it was when our lead scientist, Blondie, was talking to one of his several girl acquaintances.
I
It was
do
a little ridiculous, but
feel like he was maybe a little wooden, but maybe he was trying to play the character maybe like distant or understated, so I can't judge him too much for that.
yeah.
He's under my failures.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
I think there was one scene with him and the actress who played Melissa, and they were like having a back and forth about something, and I was like, "Ooh, this is a little painful." But that was really the only time I felt that way.
Yeah, I don't know. He struck me more as like boring dad than like hunky hero.
Hunky hero. What? I literally know no one's name in this movie except for Melissa.
There's Melissa. There
What was the main guy?
he was John.
Johnny.
John.
Or
Johnny.
I don't really remember either, now that you mention it, but I never really do.
Names are irrelevant.
Usually
What they
because
do
everyone
is what
dies.
is- yeah, right.
This movie had a very high survivor count,
I
which was very.
It's funny you say that, huh?
yeah,
I got you there.
right.
Yeah, that's unusual as hell.
I have a theory for that.
Yeah.
I have a theory.
So, I think I mentioned something about how the Friday the 13th movies last time, how they all kind of get like attacked by the MPAA.
Yes.
There was like a surge of these kind of gooey monster movies later in the 80s. Instead of
adjective.
gore, we
Yeah.
had like slime. A lot of slimy movies. Like From Beyond comes to mind, and like Gremlins, things like that. Like
Yep.
Ghoulies, like more slimy, lighter, fantasy-based horror films.
Yeah, I mean, it's Society.
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 Nobody
was-
really dies in Society, but lots of gross shit. is
Yeah,
going on.
lots of gloop.
So slimy.
Yeah.
I feel like that was an effective device to make this movie even more cringeworthy because the effects were good.
Yeah.
But the fact that there was like goo all over everything made it like 10 times more disgusting.
Yeah.
Also in my successes, awesome practical effects, extra gooey.
Yeah.
That's my order at Burger King.
A little later on, I wrote mostly awesome.
Okay, yeah.
effects.
So we have very similar
Funny.
notes.
Oh my god. I wrote dialogue and writing in general under my pluses, and then like 20 minutes later, in parentheses over dialogue, I wrote mostly.
Mostly.
So what? Wait. So if mostly effects were in the positive, what effects stopped it from being completely in the positives?
Anthony in a jar.
Yeah, that same thing. The hand puppet Anthony in the
Yeah,
jar.
That was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
campy, like
I
really
liked
silly.
that part. I thought that part was like
I liked it. I
Yeah, it
like
was
it, but that doesn't
fun.
mean it's effective,
that.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's
it looked
kinda-
like a piece of Play-Doh.
Garbage
Dude,
pail.
when his
Like
little
they ran
arm
out of
broke
budget when it was time for that scene.
and nothing left.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably could have done something with maybe like fiddle with the lighting, maybe not like showcase it so heavily. You know,
I
like
mean, the movie
alien.
had pretty bad lighting to begin with.
Yeah.
That it did.
So the fact that they chose such stark lighting for such a not good practical effect seems like a strange choice to me.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, but overall, the special effects makeup of Anthony and the gross pit
Oh, that was
in the
fantastic.
basement of the house.
Yeah, the breathing walls and stuff.
Yeah, like all that stuff. Like
All the tendrils.
every tendril.
Every
They were
slimy
good.
tendril.
Good tendrils.
The tendril under the woman's face when she was like like on the run of
Loved
the
that
car.
part.
That was
Oh,
disgusting.
There was a lot of skin
Actually have
crawl
that under
moments.
favorite.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they got like this.
It's in my favorites too.
Oh snap!
This is weird.
It's like,
It's almost
the
like
same movie.
It's almost like this is a good movie.
Yeah, right.
yeah, a lot of cool skin crawl moments. Anthony got under your skin a little bit.
Yeah.
Cool.
Literally.
Yeah, yeah. Just Anthony in general, his effects makeup, I thought were really good.
Yeah, I actually found it to be more effective and creepier when they didn't show the whole monster. Like once they showed the whole entirety of Anthony, I was like, it's okay. But when we were catching like little glimpses of him like grabbing stuff and like bursting out of the melon, I was like,
The melon, yeah, hell yeah. I mean, I think in context of like where special effects were, especially for movies budgeted at this, I think that they did a really great job. I think that
Absolutely.
like overall, I can think of some way more popular movies with some way shittier special effects.
I was gonna say
Definitely.
we've seen some pretty bad effects.
Hell fucking yeah.
I actually felt like the acting was pretty strong for the most part,
Totally agree.
barring the main character.
Yeah, Scanner
Really?
syndrome.
I have scanners written down.
Do you?
Dude, we're all on the same page.
It's like
with this
we've
thing.
watched like 50 movies together.
I have good acting overall, if a bit overacted.
Very true.
But I'm down with overacting.
It's all right.
Yeah.
You can get behind it.
Better than no acting.
I felt Melissa was overacted, but I couldn't tell if it was because
Who was Melissa?
Melissa was
She was like the spy.
she was
yeah,
the one
the
who
rat.
was like in on it. She
Amanda
was like,
Pays.
Yeah.
she was
She's
like the
in
ghoul.
Leviathan.
She was
Another
the fish ghoul.
top of the line.
Leviathan.
Leviathan. Yeah. Underwater alien movie.
Oh, so
Never
she
seen it.
With Daniel
transformed into
Stern.
that. Oh,
Really?
Yeah. And the Black Ghostbuster. Ernie Hudson.
But yeah, I couldn't figure out if it was because she had an accent and she was trying to like suppress it, or if she
Oh.
didn't have an accent and she was trying to really like go for it. Just couldn't tell.
Or if
but-
I wanted to give her like extra credit, she was a bad actor as a character.
yeah.
But I'm
You
not
could
sure
do
if
that.
that's the case. I don't know.
She's pretty bad. She was like, in context, she was like a swimsuit model in the 80s and got some roles on that, I think.
Yeah,
I can buy that.
actually had her in my negative column.
that makes a lot of sense.
I just wrote I hate Melissa.
I kind of felt for her. I felt for Melissa. She was in a tough
She's
spot.
a junkie. A fish junkie.
Fish junkie.
If you don't get your fix, you turn into a fish. It's life.
Man, that's a
Yeah,
sucky
I-
life.
I do think like
I wish they showed us that video in Dare. If you do drugs, this is what's gonna happen to you.
gills all swollen.
Wait, you guys had Dare?
Dude, can we cut that video together right now?
As a Dare PSA.
Yeah, I can do that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was just gonna say, I felt like her acting actually did really pick up once we knew what her motivations were, which is like right as she died. Because I felt like her death scene was actually pretty well acted.
Disgusting.
Gross.
And like, think about that as an actor, like what you have to be doing when you're like,
Yeah, like what mindset do you put yourself into? I'm
turning into a fish.
and it's horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
boy, oh boy.
gills are just popping up all over
Oh,
her
dude,
body.
it's so gross.
It was disgusting.
It was
Like,
Good.
Also,
Some real
favorite
shades
part.
of Cronenberg right there.
Yeah, some body
Definitely.
horror stuff. Yeah, I liked it.
Definitely.
It was
Good stuff.
definitely good. Anyone else with anything positive before we move on?
I think we got.
Cashed.
I just this is like a little thing, but I like the use of color in this movie. It had
Okay.
like a nice like 80s sci-fi palette. Like especially in the lab scenes, like there was just random like pinks and blues and yellows everywhere. I don't know. Something about that really gets me when it comes to these movies. It puts me in the
You
right
know,
mood.
I don't
Sells
really
the
know where I'd
aesthetic.
fit this.
As
But-
like sci-fi or horror.
No, not genre-wise, but I think that this movie, maybe we would have thought more of it if it was like a better looking print or like, because
Yeah.
I put that in failures, but I don't know. We'll talk about that later, I guess.
Yeah, we never
It's not really like
know.
the movie's fault.
We never know what
Yeah.
to like attribute that to when we watch rips like that.
Yeah.
It's like you can't really blame the movie.
But where I was going with it is that I would agree with you. I think that the movie has a lot of cool shit that you just can't really see because the film grade's old and like so on and so forth.
It's not the movie's fault. We bought it
And
from
it's,
VHS.
I mean, yeah, it's a VHS rip. I mean, what do you want, loser?
Yeah, we try not to hold that against the movie if it's like poor, but just kind of cut at that break. But if it's like extra
or if the
bad,
sound is bad, we're just like,
I just think
it
that the
could be
movie,
anything.
like, if we had a decent print of the movie, we might have found some more successes.
Yeah, for sure.
Like as far as like style and art and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
I
that's
get
fair.
the sense there was a real good art direction going on in this movie, so I'm willing to cut it some slack.
I think there's a lot of positive stuff as a film overall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like all the things that it has going for for it are the most important things to have going for you.
In a movie in general.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would agree.
Yeah, and I mean, what they accomplished, I mean, actually, so in this Fangoria magazine, there's an article about the Kindred, and it was very interesting, and you said it was $2.5 million?
Yeah, $2.5 million and shot in 9 weeks.
9 weeks. I think 9 weeks is a long time. That's a long time. $2.5 million, though, I feel like we saw the $2.5 million. You know, like, it was just like, where the fuck did that go? No,
Yeah,
it was
right.
right on the screen for us to see the whole time.
I feel like we
saw
could have
melted
used a
pizza
little
man.
bit more money. Like, then we wouldn't have had Shitty Hand Puppet Anthony.
True.
And
They
some
blew
of like
their
the,
load with explosions.
yeah, right.
It was like 2 pretty large ones.
yeah, one right in the beginning, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Little Anthony.
All right, so let's go over some failures where the movie fell short.
Well, we all know I hate Melissa.
Yeah, yeah. Is that subjective?
No.
No. Everyone
Yeah, she
hates
was-
Melissa.
I don't hate her.
I don't hate her, but she wasn't a strong point in the movie.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it. She's neither. She's just a character that was meant to turn into a fish. Like she
Yeah.
was. I mean, I never needed to fall in love with her.
Yeah.
You know?
I needed
she
her to
served
turn
a
into a
purpose.
fish.
Right.
It was kind of slow on the uptake, but I wasn't disinterested at any point.
Yeah, there was like a bit of a valley, kind of like half hour-ish, and I was like, okay, we need to like pick up the pace.
And that's when the
totally
watermelon
did.
death happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was perfectly timed. Like, I mean, as soon as I was ready to just almost, okay, this is too slow, it picked right up.
And that happened every time I've watched this movie, and I felt like it's kind of slow. Something good would happen to make me re-engage.
Yeah.
Which a lot of movies can't say.
Yeah.
Pulls you back in.
And the re-engagements were good enough to go, okay, it was worth it. Next.
Yeah, right. There's
stick around for
like
the next
payoff for the boredom.
Yes. Yeah.
It does get kind of too sciencey, and I don't know.
Yeah, I was a little lost at the beginning. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that was what they were kind of going for, like
Yeah.
starting it off with like the ambulance driver and all that kind of thing, like, you know.
The mystery. I forgot all about him.
Right.
And his like pit of ghouls.
Yeah. Well, they're right here, so I forgot all about that. I mean, I remembered them by looking at them. So just so you listeners know, I have an old Fangoria issue that I brought with me tonight that has a feature article on the Kindred, and there's some really great looking pictures in here,
Way better than
and
the
some
movie.
info, some really good info too. But
That's
that's
very
neither
cool.
here nor there.
No, that's right here.
Yeah, that's right here. But there's a picture of these ghouls we were just talking about that look really cool that I don't remember seeing in the actual movie.
Yeah. I
There's
think
a little
they
hand
only-
here. See that little hand? Ooh, gross.
Ew.
Oh, man, if you guys could see this little hand right
I
now.
don't see it. I don't
Boy,
remember
is
seeing
it
Just
little.
Go to Google image search, type in Kindred little hand.
Little Kindred hand.
Didn't
Little
somebody
Anthony's
have like
little
a
hand.
melting arm? Didn't they show that?
Yeah. Like
It looked like that, but
it-
without the hand.
Yeah, right.
Who the
Interesting.
fuck was that?
It was when the ghoul basement ambulance driver death.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Anything else anyone wants to throw out there for failures?
Failures.
I don't
I really have.
like my failures are really at best just slight subversions of the positives.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
they
it's-
dropped the ball on these few things, but it was really good otherwise. you
Yeah,
know?
it's like if
yeah.
you're nitpicking.
I didn't like the lead actor. We already talked about that.
Yeah, he was.
I was
Split it.
bummed that it was low on gore and the body count,
Yeah, the body count.
but it made up for it with the goo
Yep.
to some extent. But I still like to see a good evisceration here and there.
Definitely.
Somebody could have been ripped apart for me to smile a little bit more about this movie.
I'm trying to think how many characters were there and how many lived.
I think there
It
were
was the main guy and his wife, the 4
6.
other people, and then Melissa, right?
Yeah, so
sounds
there's
right.
7.
7.
And at least 5 of them made it out.
Yeah, I would say. Oh, I think we only saw. So we saw the watermelon death in the car. We saw the.
Ambulance driver.
Yep, ambulance driver.
But we don't even really see him. He just kind of gets like pulled under a gate.
Yeah. I mean, of like the main group
Yeah.
who goes to the house to do
Yeah,
like a excursion.
Yeah, I think there was 2 people.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was really shocking.
That doesn't really happen.
But
Yeah,
Especially when you introduce non-characters like we have in this group of characters.
Yeah.
Like there's
Yeah.
characters I don't know the names of, and I don't know what they were doing there.
Yeah, and usually you pick those people off just so we can smile a little bit. But,
Yeah, like the guy who rigged the cigarette thing for the explosion at the end.
I thought he was awesome. I liked him
I
as an
liked him
actor
too.
and as a character, but he was like insignificant.
He
Yeah.
was, and I thought that he
I liked
was
him
going to
too.
be the ultimate sacrifice for like them to escape and continue and end the movie.
Yeah,
You know, like a
and then he
character
lived
arc.
also, and I was like, that's an odd choice.
right. Definitely some odd choices as far as people living. That doesn't really happen in this genre.
I think that all the time in real life.
I have no comment. These days.
do you want to touch on anything else?
The only other thing that I have is that this really needs a Blu-ray or a DVD
Official.
to give us a more fair, to maybe knock off some of these failures as far as like maybe we missed some of the gore or some of the cool gooey parts because we couldn't see them.
They could have been gooier, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like one part in particular where like the car is kind of getting like yanked by Anthony. He's like
Yeah.
pulling it, and like you could kind of see what's going on. But I feel like if we had like a brighter, more vibrant picture, a remaster or
Yeah,
something.
it just looked like tentacles, and then when it switced perspective
Right.
to inside the house, it was just like a car that was tilted.
However,
I was like, "There's no monster."
For all we know, Zangief is just giving that thing a suplex.
for all, you know, I have seen movies where the remaster actually hurts it, like The Evil Dead. Actually, I feel like some of the special effects look way shittier.
Yeah, it's
without
like
the grain of VHS.
it's like they were never meant to be seen in such quality.
Oh yeah, so many times it's happened, but nevertheless,
You see edges of like prosthetic appliances. I'm like,
yeah, right.
I mean, if we're good with failures, does anyone have any risks they want to talk about?
Yeah,
Yeah, you do.
I have a little pile of risks.
That's good.
One of the failures is actually a risk, so it's a good little segue.
Oh, perfect.
The low body count and gore thing.
Yeah.
I think that in 1987, the average horror film attendee wanted to see some gore and wanted to see some body count and that sort of thing, and they didn't really have that. So I think that was a risk that they took when making a movie like this.
Do you think that was a conscious risk? Like, hey, we want to keep the kill count down.
Well,
or do you think they're like, oh, shit?
I think it goes back to what I was saying earlier about how there was a push towards gooey fantasy-based horror films
yeah.
and away from the body count movies, the slasher movies.
Oh, interesting.
yeah,
Go for more gross out than body count.
Yeah. And I think it succeeded there.
Absolutely,
yeah, it
it
kind of
did.
fits the tone of the rest of the movie. I
Right.
would say.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't say that was down for the movie, but I guess for the era,
Right.
could have been a misstep. For
Right.
Sure,
That's
yeah.
true.
Right. And
yeah, I mean, you said this movie broke even.
Yeah.
Like it did okay.
In the box office.
yeah,
So that-
box office, it broke even, and then it did whatever it did on video. And I know it played cable and things like that. So this movie did what it needed to do.
yeah, that's good
So, I
to
mean,
know.
It's decent
Yeah.
calculated risk.
Yeah, because, I mean, some of the stuff we watch is just as good, if not better, than a movie like this, and it, like, tanked.
Right.
And I think, I'm like, why? Where did this fail? Like, why didn't people show up?
On the same coin, I'm really surprised that the Kindred doesn't have more of a cult following than it does. I feel like it's at least on par with movies like Chud or The Gate. Or
I thought that was way more action packed than Chud.
Chud is boring. Chud is boring.
It is.
But like when it has cool stuff going on, it's cool. But like there's like 10 minutes of cool stuff in a 100-minute movie.
Yeah.
That's
pretty
not
bad.
enough cool stuff.
Yeah, the ratio to cool to uncool, not cool.
Yeah, right. Daniel Stern's cool, but
Yeah.
He was all,
we all knew
it
that.
doesn't wash, Bosh. It's my favorite line in the whole movie.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I like his greasy look. But that's another movie for another time. But yeah, I'm really surprised that the Kindred hasn't really cultivated its little audience.
Do you think it's because it had such mediocre success as opposed to other movies that tank that people feel they need to maybe overcompensate for? Do you think the fact that this movie was just that's why it doesn't have a cult following?
I don't think that. I think that there's movies that tanked when they came out that later got bigger. Well, not big, more of a following. For a movie that pops right into my head right now is Troll 2. No one cared about Troll 2 when it came out.
Right, like
I mean,
so.
it's a totally different kind of movie and totally different reasons why people like it.
I follow.
But the whole thing is just that no one cared when it came out. It didn't even play theaters, I don't think, and
Yeah.
at least not in America. And then years later, it was rediscovered. There's some kind of rediscovery component for a lot of these movies that this movie just didn't get yet, and I don't get why.
Yeah, maybe in like 15 years it'll show up at Alamo Draft House, and we'll all be like, "Oh shit!"
Right.
Yeah.
for no reason at all.
15 years will be like almost 40 years ago for this movie.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
I feel like it's almost like a well that's waiting to be struck or something. As far as a B movie that like I think it deserves a following. It's a well-made movie. Like
Yeah.
and that was actually one of my other risks, that it's a B movie that attempts to have some credibility and class with its score and its cast. And it has the more complex storytelling. It's not just like we're naked and we're dying. The art direction, like they tried to make a movie that was a monster movie, but also had some, credibility. And
yeah. That's interesting.
Relatively intelligent.
That's interesting
yeah, it's
perspective.
an intelligent movie for 1987.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have a plot that makes sense. You have subplots that make sense and actually weave into the main plot.
Right.
That's kind of asking a lot for a horror movie.
There's
really is.
science involved, whether or not it's like
Legit.
legitimate. I have no idea, but
It's-
it sounds
Who cares
legit.
about science?
Yeah,
Never
exactly.
care if science is real in movies.
I don't care if it's real in real life. Here's beer.
Like science is a lot of fiction.
It's like Cronenberg science. Like they throw some jargon on the screen, and whether or not it's real or not, you don't care because someone's going to turn into a fish. It's not real
Videodrome.
science either way.
Right.
I believe it. Anyone have any questions I'd like to pose to the group? Anything that they didn't understand? Or
The only thing I wrote in my questions section was Anthony,
I had that a
but that
couple
got
times.
answered like really quickly. So
Well,
she was like, "Anthony's there." And she was dying, and I was like, "Who the fuck is?"
I'm wondering
Anthony?
why the people that wrote the screenplay named him Anthony. That's so like not. She said, I know in the movie they said it was named after her favorite saint.
It was
Yeah.
like definitely the name of the person who picked on this writer when he was like in middle school.
I'm gonna make Anthony a ghoul.
It's gonna be so gooey.
Fuck you, Anthony.
I was gonna ask, and it kind of came up a little earlier. What is gloopier, this or Society?
Ooh, I think this.
I think this, but society is gloopy in a different kind of way.
It's
In a
way more
sexual
disturbing.
way.
Yeah, it's in a way that is more visceral and like touches you in a weird place. It's like it's
I
like
don't
a
want to
gloop-
be touched there.
Yeah, right. It's like a gloop that
Don't
you like.
shunt me.
I don't want to be part of the shunt
That's
ever.
a gloop that is like closer to real than this.
Yeah, nightmarish glue. I mean, this was nightmare too.
Yeah.
but
This
in a
was like
different way.
monster goo, which doesn't exist, and that was kind of like melting bodies and like
I
Yeah, I
feel like
didn't really get
sexual goo.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't really get the effect that this goo was having on people in this movie. Like when it was touching them, and they were like, "Ah."
That was my
I
next
was like,
question.
"Ooh."
How do you get infected? Did these people get infected with this gloop?
No,
Because at one point when they're in the hospital, he does say that the hemocyanin or whatever is like bad for people. But then they don't really go into that any further.
the only people that were infected by it were people that like were subjected to experiments.
Yeah.
okay.
I think that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, well, I mean, one of the bad guy that wasn't Anthony, the guy who was trying to save Anthony, the other evil
Rod
scientist,
Steger.
Rod Steger, was covered in goop.
Yeah, he got gooed and he was like, "Ah."
I think he just thought it was really gross.
I
would too.
Killed it. I forgot to put him in my successes. I
Yeah.
thought he was like absolutely
Yeah,
great.
He
our
was
antagonist
really good.
was really good. Like he really fit the bill. Like because I mean, he was a relatively famous guy, right? For being
Academy Award
Nominee?
winner.
Oh, he won.
He
Okay,
won.
great.
I mean, obviously not for this. He actually went on record years later, or maybe not years later. I know that he later said that this movie was the worst movie he was ever in, and I
That's
wouldn't
a
agree.
pretty
with that.
good track record if this
Yeah.
is the first movie you're
He
on.
was in a movie for TV that was like Chicken Soup for the Soul, so he's full of shit.
Yeah, right. I think that the Amityville Horror, the original Amityville Horror, was worse than this, and he was in that.
That movie is one of the most boring horror
Right.
films I've ever seen.
It's so boring.
The remake with Ryan Reynolds was way better. That's
I'm
how
reading a
bad it
quote
is.
here right now. Steger says he did it because, and I quote, because I've never done one before.
That's a good enough
then he
reason.
And
went
Hunter,
Experimental.
Kim Hunter claims she did it because I'm insane.
She was also awesome. I think that's what really sold me on like the dialogue and the writing was when she was in her hospital bed and she was talking to her son. She had like so much conviction.
She did a great job.
Yeah.
She did a really great job. She was in Planet of the Apes.
Wow. Okay.
And then Rod Steiger.
And also
went on
an
to be
Academy
End of
Award winner.
Days with
Two-
Arnold.
Two Academy Award winners in the fucking Kindred. Less than $3 million movie about gooey monsters from 1987. Doesn't get better than that.
Well, they put all the right people in the right places.
They killed it too. I mean, like these older, more seasoned actors lend like a. I don't know. It just feels like this movie is credible when they show up.
Yeah.
Like I really believe that. Like this Rod Steiger. I already forgot his name.
Yeah.
Rod Steiger. Like he looks.
Rod
Stewart. Yeah, Rod Stewart. He plays like the role of like this really, kind of jovial, like friendly scientist man, and then you kind of get the sense that like you can feel it underneath underneath the skin. He's really like this sinister kind of guy, but it all feels believable. Whereas like if you got maybe a lesser character actor, it would be very cartoonish.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I agree. He did a great job.
Yeah. Good touches all
I think
around.
all of the actors overall did a really great job.
Except for Main Man.
Except for Main Man. He was kind of bland. Bland man.
Very wide, a very wide jaw as well.
That's why he got the leading role. All right, so if there's no more questions, let's go on to favorite parts then.
Yeah, actually, I do have one success based off of the fact that a movie that had a plot like this, I had no questions.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
That's successful.
Yeah. Because
Everything was
usually I'm
pretty
just
much
like, what?
That is a success for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. Good job, movie.
You did it. You made a movie. A real one.
It wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
So let's go to favorite parts then. Who someone started out.
The fish transformation, I think, was my favorite thing
Loved
in the
it.
whole movie.
When Melissa.
So Melissa is one of the scientists who's accompanied them to this house, and we get like a side scene where she's with Dr. Lloyd, and she's implying that she needs medicine of some kind because she's in pain, and you're not really sure what's up with her. She goes back to the house and joins everyone else, and then she starts freaking out and talking about how she's dying and how they need to destroy Anthony, and then she just turns into a fish. Which sounds innocuous, but it's really terrifying.
I thought that part was well acted by everyone too, not just her.
They
Like
all
everyone
look
was really
terrified.
yeah.
She's like convulsing, and like gills are just opening up all over her body, and
And you can like feel her
rib
pain.
cage.
yeah.
Her rib cage and her throat. That
She
was all
also
really
was a
gross.
little slimy.
Yeah,
That makeup was great though, and I
yeah.
she sold it so well.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Really great. That was one of my favorite parts.
I was like,
too.
that is the stuff of nightmares.
For sure.
Yeah. On one of my favorite parts was, I think our first real kill of the movie was the watermelon scene where Anthony busts out of a watermelon in someone's car. The watermelon that for this character was a gift for her parents' 35th anniversary,
Yeah. Oh,
35th
boy.
year anniversary.
Yeah, what a generous daughter.
What is an oddly shaped watermelon?
Thankfully, the characters in the movie were just as fucking confused about the melon as we were.
Right.
They were like, anniversary melon. Like, what?
Yeah, they were confused. Like, is this a cantaloupe? I don't.
Those aren't cantaloupes.
But yeah, the scene. So this watermelon is just kind of chilling out in this back room. You see Anthony's tendril enter this thing. So I'm assuming he infects it in some way.
He's in it.
He is in it.
Like
But-
because there's a billion
one of
Anthony.
that's
one
right.
of him.
One of the Anthonys gets into the watermelon. There's a lot of Anthonys.
Right.
Big Anthony, little Anthonys. They're everywhere. They're like asexual.
Eventually, Anthony's the entire house.
Like a bona fide Italian family.
Yeah. Anthony's everywhere.
No.
And so he manages his way into this watermelon, which gets put in a car. And as she's driving away, he busts out of this watermelon. It's very disgusting.
I think that's why they chose watermelon to like see that thing pulsate through watermelon was really gross looking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was like giving. I just wrote I wrote melon birth.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah, he impregnated the melon.
It was
Yeah.
even more disgusting that the tendrils like went under her skin.
Yes, like so they wrapped her throat and it like wrapped her foot to the gas pedal, and then it wrapped her throat, and then the other tendrils were just creeping in right under her skin and her face.
Yeah, that was.
It
gross.
was absolutely disgusting.
And it's also another thing that kind of like goes back to the like no gore kill. Like it wasn't a violently gory kill. It was just kind of disturbing that there was tendrils under someone's skin.
Yeah.
It was bloodless. There was no blood.
Visually, it was disgusting.
Yeah, right.
And just conceptually, it was
And
gross.
painful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But I have to say that my favorite part of that watermelon scene, which was also one of my favorite parts, was when the woman's like, "That's not a cantaloupe, that's a watermelon. Can you go put it in my car for me?" And it cuts to outside, and the guy's just closing the car door and standing there, and then the car drives away. We're like, "Oh my god, the watermelon just drove
Anthony!
Right.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
Good part.
Actually, I want to quickly add something to the Melissa Fish scene.
Yes.
So right before it started to go down, she was like giving this big long speech about something, about how they had to go and kill Anthony, I think, right? And then right before that, Anthony busts through the window and like wraps her and like tries to like pull her out. And it as soon as I saw it, it reminded me of that scene in Deep Blue Sea.
I was just gonna say Deep Blue Sea.
I wrote down Deep Blue Sea, and I was like, this is like that scene where Samuel L. Jackson gets eaten by that shark.
Yeah.
And like right in the middle of his speech, and then she just gets taken out right in the middle of his speech.
Totally.
That's a movie I actually tried to forget about.
You're welcome.
Sorry about that. But it was even it was I don't know. It was awesome because I was not expecting it. I think she's even holding like a harpoon gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was, right.
Which is also from Deep Blue Sea.
She's armed for battle.
Yeah.
Yo, what the fuck? Deep Blue Sea? You
Right.
steal it from the Kindred. More people know about Deep Blue Sea.
Calling you out 20 years
My head is
later.
like a shark fan. Fucking LL Cool J, that's why.
You ate my bird. Sorry. I always have to say that when talking about Deep Blue Sea.
Another favorite part, and this was like a big plus for me, was at the end when, well, the first initial, what you think is going to be Anthony's death scene, when they electrocute him. I really liked how they electrocuted him, and then he slowly started to turn humanoid.
Yes.
Like he started to like goop back into like a human form.
Yep.
And I really, really, really appreciated that. And I liked that touch because I feel like a lesser movie would have just electrocuted this monster and then he would have like died and that would have been the end of it. But it added that really weird, uncomfortable touch of him like turning human.
That this is the main character's brother.
Yeah, and it
And,
like
you
kind
get
of
to
looks
see it.
like him.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was really creepy.
Yeah.
Good touch.
I appreciated that.
I thought, and I was thinking to myself, I wondered because I wondered if it was our main actor that was in that goopy suit because it kind of looked like
Maybe
him.
that's why they hired such a bland bitch for an actor. Because he would get goopy.
Shit. That,
That's why.
well, we needed a guy who could get really goopy. So
He was our lowest bid for Goop.
Yeah, but I feel like a lesser film definitely would have deprived us of that. And it was a really awesome touch, in my opinion.
yeah. Oh, I definitely noticed it.
Yeah, I feel like that was the part that made me like the most uneasy. I was like, just something about that just looks so gross and painful.
Yeah,
Like,
because first it's like a giant bug-looking monster,
It actually
even
looked
though
like
it's like a tentacle sea creature thing.
it looked like it was from Contra.
dude, everyone is on the same page today because the entire time, like when it got to the part where they were in the basement, like the Anthony house.
Yes.
I was just thinking like, this is the last level from Contra. What's going on
Dude,
here?
I thought that.
He kind of had the same face as that monster from Contra, too.
Yeah, totally. So, like those like flying shrimp things,
Like those creepy
from the
pustule
brain level.
things?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it looked like he had like the same face.
He
And
even
maybe this
said
was a big hit in Japan
kissing
or
Melissa
something.
was like kissing a cold shrimp.
yeah, and there's shrimpy things in Contra,
True.
and like I'm pretty sure Contra came out in like '87. I want to say
Yeah.
So maybe this was a big hit in Japan.
I bet it
People
was.
made.
Konami. Yeah.
This seems like one of those movies that would have like the hard coded like Japanese subtitles on it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Touche.
Any other favorite parts? Anyone want to throw out there?
Rod Steiger's slime hat. When Anthony is dying, he gives this freak out like you wouldn't believe. he nails it again with his overacting, and he's just like hysterical. And when the hat gets hit with slime, it just did it for me for some reason.
His face is just like,
Pure horror.
Oh my god!
Yeah, the top of his lungs before he gets dragged down into the goop.
It was a great scene. It was a great finale.
Yeah. Climax
Appreciated it.
was well worth it.
even though he wasn't really dead at that point. They had to kill all the other little Anthonys.
Yeah.
Or
which
was he dead and there was just
kind of
other ones?
unnecessary.
Well, I mean, they killed Big Anthony, and so then if you put a stop to the little Anthonys, I'm pretty sure that put a stop to all Anthonys.
Right.
Yeah.
Good thing this wasn't a hit, because then what the hell?
Oh my god. Anthony 2, Electric Boogaloo.
They would have showed like one tiny Anthony in the sewer at the end, and it would
Yeah.
be like, da-na, roll credits.
I was hoping for one surviving Anthony. We didn't get
in
one.
the ambulance when they're driving away. at the
Yeah,
end.
just like one little tendril comes out.
Da-na.
Anyone else have any favorite parts?
I've exhausted my
'em all.
favorites.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, got them all, so let's rat it.
Rat-a-tat-tat.
So let's rate it then.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with
Yeah,
fuck
I'm gonna have to
you.
give it an unfortunate fuck off.
Oh my god, my fucking father.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fuck yeah! All right, let's rate The Kindred from 1987. Brandon, since it's been a bit since you've been on, let's re-explain the system. So it's the fuck scale. So if you really loved the movie, it's a fuck yeah. If you thought the movie was okay, you can give it a fuck off. If it was really bad, you can give it a fuck you. If you're kind of confused, you can give it a what the fuck. As long as you squeeze fuck into it, you can say it. And we'll count it as a rating.
Okay.
Okay.
Whether or not it means anything.
Phrase it in the form of a fuck, please.
Yeah, that's the only requirement. And let's have at it, guys.
Okay.
All right.
Do you want me to?
Go for it.
All right. Just jump right in, man.
I'm gonna go with. See, I don't remember my Friday the 13th 5 rating, and I don't want to give it the same shit.
Oh.
So I'm just gonna go with I really fucking like this movie. I really, really, really like it. It's a fuck yeah. If I didn't give Friday the 13th 5 a fuck yeah.
I don't think you gave it a fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I think I did. That was about it.
I like The Kindred a whole lot. I think that everyone should go check this out if they get an opportunity to check out a slimy monster movie from 1987.
Agreed.
Yeah. Slam.
I'm just gonna give it a standard fuck yeah.
All right.
I really enjoyed it. I don't need to re-explain. We've already heaped praise upon it enough. Yeah, I recommend it.
Cool. Eric?
I give it a fuck yeah. I mean, I know I've said a number of times that horror isn't really my genre, but when I do watch horror, I really like body horror, and this has just some excellent practicals for body horror, and it made me just feel like gross and weird in the way that I expect a body horror movie to do. So, I mean, yeah, I have no complaints about this movie, really. Like, it's pretty fucking fantastic.
Yeah, I was not anticipating this kind of body horror. I had no expectations at all about this. So I originally wrote down, and I think this was probably during a slow part, I was going to give it a fucking fine. And fucking fine is something I gave to...
I actually thought that at one point, too.
Fucking fine? Yeah, of course, because we're all Borg. But
I was always on the fuck yeah train, man.
Yeah.
I really like this movie a lot.
You knew what we were in for.
Yeah, right. I've seen this a whole lot of times, so.
It was good, and I gave Destroyer fucking fine, and I think I had a lot more...
Wow, let's go.
Dude, that is a totally different thing.
I know,
and that's probably why I pick up what you're putting down. Got it.
So I was...
Destroyer sucks.
It did. I had a lot of negative things to say about Destroyer. I still gave it a fucking fine, and I was going to give this a fucking fine, but I don't have nearly as many negative things to say, so I think I'm going to have to elevate to not a fuck... I'm going to go fuck yes.
Okay.
Not a full-fledged fuck yeah, but fuck yes. And for... I don't know, just for the fact that there was some slow parts, took a little bit to build, our main character wasn't awesome, but everything surrounding those negatives was immensely positive. So,
I can understand.
Yeah. A fuck yes is a really good rating, by the way.
Yeah, it's like an A minus.
Not exactly throwing all caution to the wind with the fuck yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, whenever I watch any of these movies, I always think of it like in like the realm of the movie that it's in. I think that Destroyer came out
Same year.
Or yeah.
Maybe the 88.
Yeah, right.
Close to it, yeah.
I mean,
I really expected that movie to be great, and it was not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like it's that kind of, you have to put that lens to it, it's the same audience that they're kind of going for and that sort of thing. So there's a lot of really terrible horror movies out there, and I don't think that The Kindred is one of them in any way, shape, or form. I think it's a good film overall.
No, I think it's elevated above all those as well.
Agreed.
Great. Excellent, guys. Any final thoughts before we wrap ourselves up here?
Why has no one put this out on DVD or Blu-ray? Someone needs to do this.
Yeah.
I saw that Synapse Films owns the rights as of 2007.
Okay.
What the fuck are you waiting for? Do it.
What are you waiting for?
Even like something to stream to Netflix would be pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. I want extras.
Or like Amazon Prime or something.
No.
Maybe it is on Prime.
I want special features.
No, I don't want special features. I think you can just put it on Netflix or something.
I want special features. I want a commentary. I want all the special fun shit.
Yeah, some behind the scenes
Spesh
commentary
feature.
would be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I wonder if they even have any of that. Like if anyone who made this gave a shit enough to like
Definitely.
bother with behind the scenes or...
Every movie does.
I mean, even if they don't, I'll settle for a commentary. I'll settle for some cool trailers and a commentary.
You know, I never watch anything with commentary on.
If The Howling 2 can get a fancy ass Blu-ray disc, I think that The Kindred can too.
Commentaries are pretty good, depending on obviously what you're. If you really like the movie and you're really familiar with it, watch it with commentary.
I like to do it with movies that I'm like, what the fuck happened here?
Yeah,
I'm
You're
always
confused?
like Chud. Actually, I really loved listening to the Chud commentary because it explains so much about why things happened the way they did in the movie. Check it out if you're interested.
Definitely. We have that on DVD. I wonder if it's on there.
I bet it is.
It is, if it's the Anchor Bay disc, then it is.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, actually, Daniel Stern and John Hurd and all those actors. It's really funny. They like forced things to be the way they were in Chud.
Really?
Yeah.
Love Daniel Stern.
That's weird.
Why do we keep talking about Chud?
Because we just watched it like 2 nights ago.
I know, and I was
Right.
like texting you as we were watching it.
Right. We watched Neon Maniacs. Whatever. Never mind.
How was it?
Neon Maniacs
the end of
was
that.
fucking terrible. There's no motive for the monsters at all. They're killed by squirt guns. Water is what kills your villain.
Oh, like Zombies Ate My Neighbors. I want to watch this now.
Like Ernest Scared Stupid, but worse.
but
Not milk.
I mean, it wasn't. That would be a fucking fine. Neon Maniacs
Wow.
is a fucking fine.
It's
Okay.
watchable.
It's watchable. It's fun, but yeah.
You know, we were actually having that discussion like a couple weeks ago about how so many movies are fine, but it's like that's all we
Right.
get now, so it's nothing to be excited
Yeah, there's
about.
nothing that's like groundbreaking.
Yeah, I know.
Everything is fine.
As far as horror movies have been, I feel like Cabin in the Woods has been the last thing that's like wowed me.
Everyone keeps telling me that I need to.
What, you've
I
not?
don't know if you.
Every time I watch it, I fall asleep.
Is it the movie's fault or is
I
it bad
don't
timing?
really know. I haven't decided yet, and I know there's a lot of CGI, and I hate CGI in my horror
Scared to
movies.
say it on the air, but I'm not a crazy fan of that movie.
Oh man.
And people are
Yeah,
really
I
split
don't know,
about it too.
I don't know if you would like it. I can't really tell. I mean, stylistically and aesthetically, you might not, but I feel like you might appreciate the concept. It's very
Yeah.
like self-aware.
Yeah, which isn't always my favorite thing.
Yeah, so you might not.
Yeah, well, I think it does a good job because part of it's self-aware, part of it is not, and then those two worlds collide, which is very cool.
I don't know how you guys feel about the Hatchet movies.
I like them.
That is the kind of self-awareness I like.
Yes.
When it's like,
Loved the first one. The second one was okay. I don't think we've seen the third one.
we didn't
yet.
watch the third.
the third one's the second one. It's like the same movie again. But what I was where I was going with that is I felt like the only kinds of horror movies that we're getting now are horror movies that are like retreads of things that already happened, or and that encompasses remakes and homage and all that sort of shit.
Revisioning.
Yeah, revisioning. Fuck you, man.
Reimagining.
Just make them make like it's really like I have great ideas all the time, but I don't have $3 million.
But
So
Yeah. Write
Well,
them down, man.
We've said a bunch of times on the show, like, I don't understand why all these classic movies get remade. I mean, I understand it. It's a cash grab, like Texas Chainsaw, Halloween, Friday the 13th. But there's so many bad movies
Right.
that had workable concepts that could be remade into something fucking awesome, and
just
no
change
one
the
ever
title.
bothers.
right, and
Or don't change the title because nobody's ever heard of them anyway.
right. So if someone remade the Kindred today, think about that.
It would kind of
No.
be like the fact
And it would be all CGI, so it'd be canceled.
it would be like The Thing 2012.
Oof,
Yeah.
what a travesty.
What was the alternate title for this movie?
Creachoid. Creachoid.
I don't know what
that
I
was the
like
working
better.
title.
I think I like Creachoid better.
I like Creachoid better.
I think that the Kindred's a little more subdued, and it's a pretty subdued movie. I feel like a movie called Creachoid
That's a
would
good
be
point.
way more in your face.
Yeah, I feel like Kindred is a little more sophisticated.
And it's
Yeah.
a sophisticated movie, I think.
I think so.
Moderately for what
But
it is.
Creachoid is like a good title for like
Creachoid. Oh, that's brilliant.
some
feel
like
like that
Fred
should be
Owen
the-
Ray movie or something, or sci-fi original.
No,
Hey.
yeah. I don't know.
now that we've gone off on a tangent about 7 other movies,
Yeah.
at
Was
least they were all horror.
good conversation.
Welcome
though.
to the part of
yeah.
second class cinema where you turned it off 5 minutes ago.
Touche.
So yeah, let's wrap it up. Thanks for coming by, Brandon. Thanks for
Yes, thank you.
thanks for hanging out with us and watching a pretty cool movie.
Oh, no problem. I'm glad you guys liked it. I like this movie a lot and think someone needs to talk about it. So why not us?
Why not us?
Why not us?
It's great that we've had you on for some pretty decent movies. Sorry, I'm not giving in to the why not us.
Why not?
Come on, we all said it. Why don't you say it?
But yeah, we've had you on for some good ones. So let's.
Let's correct that and make you watch some garbage.
Yeah. Let me do some Godfrey Ho or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude.
Well, it's
We've
great.
done
I
two.
love
I'll have a
having
Godfrey
I love
Ho
having
one
people
day.
on when they know a lot about like the movie at hand. That's always a plus.
How do you feel about Godfrey Ho ninja movies?
I love him.
Okay.
I love Godfrey Ho. And
Excellent. Okay, because
All
that's going to
around.
be a pick very soon.
Serpent. What was the last one we watched?
Thunder of Giant Serpent.
how do you do with Godfrey Ho? Because you fucking hate that sort of shit.
She hates kicks, right?
Yeah, right.
There is some unrestrained rage when it comes to Godfrey.
Yeah,
Ho,
like
Brittany.
sometimes I'm just like, what the fuck is happening? But some of it is like so outlandish that it's just comical.
Sometimes I really can't can't watch them.
I feel like they're
You
draining.
have to be in a mood.
Oh yeah, they're definitely. It's like
No, my Godfrey Ho battery is always at full.
Put on your thinking cap. For
I
that
like the
one.
Dragon Lee movies personally. I like the Bruce Lee knockoff.
Maybe I'll pick up Bruceploitation soon.
Dragon Lee, Godfrey Ho's specialty.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Dragon Lee.
All right, we're wrapping it up now.
yeah. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah,
for
appreciate it. If you'd like to listen to Second Class Cinema on some other places that you're not listening to right now, you can try Stitcher. You can do TuneIn, iTunes, secondclasscinema.com. We're everywhere.
Not that we know where you're listening to that.
I don't know. That's why I'm throwing those out there. You could be listening to us on Blubbery. I don't know. That is a real thing.
Pick one.
Just have a good time and listen. Find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Second Class Cinema. We're on Instagram and Twitter as well. That's it, guys.
Yeah. Bye.
That's it. That's it. See you later. Bye.
I don't know where it is.
It's not an it, it's a him. It's a him. It was born in the house. It was spawned in Amanda's house. And I don't want John to think his brother is dangerous.